reckon let him in.
Yeah, go ahead. Hold on.
The regular crowd shuffles in. Welcome everyone to the 29th Trash Talk Live and the last one for 2022. We've got a small crowd today, so we'll probably make it a quick catch up, and then we'll get back to our daily our Saturday or in the case of Australian Sunday enjoyment activities. Looking good there, Dusty, with your glasses. Did you borrow them from Elton John?
Yeah, happy Christmas, everybody.
Happy Christmas. Yep. I don't need to read out the rules. Everyone has their cell phone set to silent, and try not to swear. The only person allowed to swear here is me. So without further ado, we'll get started with the main man, Peter Satinsky. What's that piece of crap you got behind you that's all in pieces?
This is, wait, this way. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that's a Tandy hard drive, and there's a Tandy 6000 oscilloscope and a VGA monitor. I've had this on the bench for over a year now. This is someone's. This was from the was from the 2021 Tandy assembly. I grabbed this from Jim Breen. He wanted me to get his hard drive working for him. So when I came back from the 2021 Tandy assembly at the end of the year, I put it up on the workbench, and it's been sitting here for a year. So this winter, I'm actually going to get to it and get it working for him. He's got 2 hard drive units. He wants me to get working for him, so for his 8-inch systems. So that's what that is. So what do I have to talk about? Oh, this one item that I recently acquired that I want to share with everybody because it's really cool. Some of you already know about it. It's a black and white television, but it's a very special black and white television. It's a black and white television that was used for the Tandy Model 1 video display. Everything pretty much except for the color is a Model 1 video display.
I like how it's got fake wooden sides.
It's beautiful, right? You sure that's fake? Yeah, it's fake. And what I love about it is it actually shows you, in the back of the Model 1 video display, you have these antenna brackets that are empty, but this is what goes there, an actual antenna. It's a really neat piece because what's really neat about it is the fact that, the design of the Model 1 computer itself was derived from this television set, right? RCA gave them a good deal, Tandy a good deal on a warehouse full of these TVs that they were probably a discontinued model at the time that Tandy could use for their video display. All they had to do was repaint it silver, take out the tuner, put a blank panel here, just rewire it a little bit. And they basically took this style, you can tell like from the vents here on the bottom.
Yeah, it's like the designers saw that grill and said, yeah, we can do something with that.
Exactly. So that's the grill you'll see on the Model 1 and the expansion interface. Just the overall styling all came from this humble little black and white television set for the over 250,000 Model 1 systems that they built. So it's a neat piece of history.
I wish I still had the one my folks had way back when. They had that exact model for a number of years. But picture used to watch all the hockey games on it with my dad when he was alive.
I wonder if RCA thought, geez, we got these 15,000 monitors here, and then we don't have to build another one of these bloody things ever again. We'll sell them to Radio Shack, and then 6 months later, Radio Shack gives them an order. Yeah, I think we're going to need another 100,000 of these, please.
Well, we estimate they sold around 325,000 Model 1 systems. So that's probably sold close to 325,000 video displays. So that was a big boom for RCA.
Yeah, yeah.
About 100
Was
television.
that in the States, Peter, or was that worldwide?
Mav, you'd know better than me. This one was available in the United States, probably Canada. Where else? Do you know?
Initially, that monitor was sold everywhere the Model 1 was sold. The Australian and UK versions have an extra transformer in it doing the step down for the different voltages in our countries. But by about early 79, I think Radio Shack must have realized one, RCA was going to start running out of these things or just stop making them. So they made they got other countries like Japan, Australia, to outsource the monitor, which is why we got those green screen ones. In the latter half of Model 1 production, you couldn't get the RCA ones anymore outside of the United States. But a funny bit of trivia is that the latest date I've seen on the back of one of those Model 1 monitors was 1983. It said on it something like November 1983, and I just thought that's extremely late for basically an early 70s television set to still be manufactured in a factory somewhere to be included with a obsolete at the time computer. But it was legit. It was a real thing. So don't know. Endlessly fascinating monitors.
I didn't think they made any Model 1s after 1980 or maybe early 81. Maybe with the replacement.
The devil's in the detail, and I think they had to stop production of the US Model 1, the FCC, but that version that they hated, by mid 1980, and then they were allowed to sell off the original, the remaining stock on hand, even though it didn't. They must have had some sort of influence with the FCC and said, "Hey, we got a warehouse here with 70,000 of them. Just let us sell them off, and then we won't make anything else that doesn't pass the FCC thing." But in traditional Tandy fashion, they were working towards a lower cost version of the machine to continue selling it, and that's where we got the Japanese one. It seems to have about the same amount of parts as the US one, but maybe cost of production or something was cheaper in Japan. But there's theories about, mainly generated by me, about why the tech made in Japan Model 1 exists, and why that they were even there in the first place. I think they fully planned to sell them in the United States once Model 3 production was well underway in Texas, but then the FCC intervened and said, we want you to stop selling this computer. And it took a little while for the memo to get through to Japan, hey, stop making it. And then the ones that were available got distributed through the rest of the countries who were able to sell it, like Australia, New Zealand, United Kingdom, Belgium, and Japan, until the stocks were finally exhausted. But yeah, I had to repair one the other day. Someone dropped one in for repair, so that was interesting, fixing that thing.
Very cool. So I just had a few more items. One is we have a new episode of the podcast that we recorded a couple of weeks ago. It's going to come out. I'm aiming to get it up before Christmas because it is our Christmas show. And being our Christmas show, what we did was, as the trash talkers all went around and mentioned what one Tandy thing that they don't have in their extensive collection would they like for Christmas. So I wanted to do the same thing here with everyone. So when everyone takes a moment to speak, talk about that one rare Tandy item that you've been looking for years, that you would want to find, that kind of holy grail item. This television was actually one of them for me. But the other one is something that I just want to quickly share. And I've probably shared this before. Probably last year I said the same darn thing, I bet. But this is my wish item, my Christmas wish item. It's handy 10. I think I'm probably wished for this every year that we've done this, but
You're probably better off wishing for the invention of the time machine to hurry up and then just go back and buy it. It's
it
you've
almost
got
looks like
more-
a time machine, eh?
you've got more of a chance of getting one that way than finding one, I would speculate. It looks a hell of a lot like a super brain computer to me.
Yeah.
Well, you got a good chance of maybe finding the chair.
Yeah. Well, one of the terminals showed up on eBay a year or two ago. Remember, it was all beat up and banged up, but the guy wanted $30,000 for it, I believe. I wasn't going to do that. I didn't want it that bad. Someday there's got to be one somewhere on the planet Earth in a warehouse or somebody's basement. It might be a part. Maybe they're using the desk for something, and the terminal's in a closet somewhere. But it does exist somewhere, and I will find it before I die. So,
Hey, Pete, maybe you need to talk to a museum.
a museum?
Museums talk to him, Pat.
Some people say I am a museum.
Yeah.
All right, that's all I had.
That's all you have? Okay, so my Christmas wish, I didn't realize I had this till about 2 days ago, but I saw someone posted on the Facebook group a carry bag for the Model 4P, brand new in its original wrapping, like they hadn't even opened it. Now, when I bought my 4P, I bought one of those and I used it for a while, but it got so beaten up over time that it wore out, and I don't have one. But yeah, I wouldn't mind one of those now, because my 4P sits in a dark cupboard to try to prevent it from turning yellow, but it hasn't done it. It's still going yellow, considering I don't smoke, I don't have any fluoro lights, and it's out of the sunlight. It just wants to go yellow to join every other 4P in existence. But yeah, so that's mine. That's the carry bag. So yeah. All right, let's see, who can I talk to next? How about, well, since you've waited up so late, Dusty, how's the new magazine been taken up?
Yeah, well, very well. It was quite. I could just say thanks to everybody who submitted bits and bobs. I know the competition was the highlight, really, but there were some interesting little snippets. A clever little trick from Patrick to reuse printer bits. I thought that was clever. But yeah, we ran a little bit late, but it was Christmas and there was a comp to decide, and of course TA as well. Looked like you guys had a fantastic time. You lucky buggers. That's all I can say. But yeah, it's all gone really well. I've had about 130 hits at the minute, so a little bit down, but of course it's only been out for a week, hasn't it? And I think everybody's quite busy. Christmas wish, same as last year. I would love to get XBAS working for the Aculab floppy tape. I've got to break over Christmas. I'm going to have another the final attempt at getting one of those tapes, if I can get it to read. But it's just so disappointing to have sort of like 4 lumps of software, which in the day were quite clever. And they're just gone, and they're just not going to appear again, you know. But anyway, as I said, I've got a couple of free days over Christmas, and the grandkids are going away, wanting another. So I'm going to have one last final try, see if I can get the damn thing to read. But I'm really getting to the point now where I'm beginning to think the actual hardware might be playing up. So if I don't get any luck, I might have a word with Shane and push it off to him, see if he can check it out for me. But other than that, no, it's been a fantastic time. It's been a fantastic year, Tandy-wise, for me. I've enjoyed every minute of it. And I see George and Pete have released their version 10. I've padded up straight away, absolutely brilliant. I just go system 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm there with the floppy tape again. Really, really great, guys. That is quite stupendous. But yeah, as I say, thanks to everybody who's kept us going. Do you know it's 16 years TRS-8-bit's been running?
Wow.
I can't believe that. But
Yeah, I know.
yeah,
It's longer than the TRS-80 was on the market, I
yeah,
think.
I think it's longer than 80 micro, isn't it?
It's longer than 80 micro.
Yeah.
And in fact, just a bit of another interesting point. Next year, 2023, will be 10 years of Fred. So that bloody thing just
we
has
perhaps
been
have
on
a
the market,
party.
never died. It's not even showing any signs of dying. So
Fantastic,
I don't know.
though, isn't it? Yeah. But no,
simple.
anyway, as I say, please carry on supporting it. I'm happy to do it for as long as you guys keep doing things. I'll report them. Yeah.
Congratulations on that, Dusty. Yeah, that's fantastic. There are a lot of great contributors to it, but it wouldn't keep going if it wasn't for you. So thank you from the community. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I love every minute of it, mate. As I say, I think I said in the last one, I get down to a Model 1, power up the Model 1. It's on a PC now most of the time, I must admit. But you power that up and it's just like being back in the old. You think, what can we do? What can I wonder if you could do this? And the John E.T. who sends in the one-liners, he says, "Yeah, what about doing a one? Oh, that sounds good. Yeah, let's see if we can crack it." And we just, have fun. Just nonsense, but it's fun. Yeah. Okay, guys.
I need a few more ideas for articles flicked my way so that I can get my thinking cap going again and write some more articles. But I'm sure I'll come up with something.
Do you know anything about the Exatron stringy floppy, Matt?
I know that they're more easy to find than the Aculab. I'm surprised you've not been able to find in all your time of looking another one for sale in the UK.
No, not seen one. I've not heard about anything, and I was hoping Steve might be on tonight because he was bidding on that Model 2 last time we spoke, and I see it's sold, but I don't know who bought it, obviously. But perhaps he'll turn up a bit later. Yeah.
Well, I see a stringy floppy system about once every 2 years for sale here, so they come around fairly regularly. I still don't trust them to work, but they do show up.
They're a lot of fun to play with. They really are.
They were rarer than the Aculab in the UK. I think I ever saw one.
Cool. All right. Thanks, Dusty. Okay. Quinnan. Howdy.
Hey, doing pretty good. Let's see. Got out a new release of CW2DMK. It's got some more enhancements by Tim Mann. He's been still cranking out code for the Germany museum he's working with on UDOS disks, formerly East Germany disk drives that they have, which is non-standard. So nothing for us TRS-80 folks, but just if you happen to have UDOS disks, they'll now read some weird ones. Let's see, I'm now up to 3 Model 4Ps, and I've been tinkering with them. 2 are working fully. 1 appears completely dead except for the power switch, only lights up. So I assume that's a bad power supply. I haven't cracked it open and looked at it yet. I did notice that the clips that hold the cover on, some are metal and some are plastic. Do anyone happen to know when the transition occurred on those?
Yeah, the early ones are metal, and that's generally on the non-gate array black and white tube 4P. And then when they redesigned the computer for cheaper production and put the green tube in, they got the plastic latches for the lid and the gate array motherboard. Okay,
is that a definite correlation? You can assume that if it's plastic, it's a gate array?
You've got a 99.9% chance. The reason being that Radio Shack even stated for Radio Shack repairs, if you bought in a dead 4P and they wanted to change the motherboard, if all they had was the other motherboard, as far as their stock numbering is concerned, it's a substitute. So they would sometimes put
Okay.
in a different motherboard in order to get a repair done and the computer back out to its owner.
Oh.
I think I've seen in all my travels once a machine 261080A, which should be a gate array, but I opened it up and had a non-gate motherboard. But like I say, I get a lot of machines from people that like to tinker and mess around and everything. But you can pretty much that's the switch over point. So if you're looking at one on eBay that's got a green screen and plastic latches and the catalog number ends in A, that's the gate array version.
Oh, okay.
That's
Well,
interesting that they swapped. They would actually put a non-gate array board in a gate array machine and give it back to the customer.
They have been known to do that, and as far as were concerned, that was okay. They were the equivalent boards.
Okay. Well, I got one of the metal latches and two of the plastic latch versions, so that's good to know. So I finally got around to tinkering with one I hadn't even turned on in at least 30 years. And that was the dead one.
I keep telling myself I'm going to take a 4P into my local Starbucks and record the video and people's expressions as I'm using it.
With the one with the power switch that illuminates but does nothing else. Yeah, check your power supply and it's fused. Simply because on those the power switch the light is mains powered before the power goes into the power supply. So I've had people like sort of go, the computer works, but it doesn't start up. And I'm like,
yeah,
can you hear the fan whirring or anything? And they just go, no, just the red light's on. I go, yeah, because it's in series before the power supply. So it could be as simple as that.
Yeah, the more stuff is broken, the easier it will be to isolate what the problem is. In this case, I figure it's the primary power supply.
Yeah, or you could look at the other way, just say, all right, it's the rest of the computer. It's just there's something wrong with. We've determined the power switch is perfectly functional.
So the mention of the serial numbers and such earlier on things, that made me wonder, does anyone collect what the possible ranges of serial numbers are on the various Tandy Radio Shack computers are? Have we tried to have a database of which ones are known?
I know what you're talking about. It's funny. I do a bit with cars, and we have some classic cars here in Australia that have limited production runs of only 300 in order to homologate them for racing. And they've released all these registers of what were the specifications of each individual serial number and who were the original owners and current owners and whether the car still exists or was wrecked or anything like that. I don't think we've got quite that kind of amount of fan base for our serial numbers for our TRS-80s, but occasionally something interesting shows up. Like there's a gentleman in Tacoma, Washington, who has model 4D number 3. That's its serial number, is 00003. And we were talking about it at one point. We wonder where 1 and 2 is. They probably went to management or the what do you call it? Publicity and photography department at Tandy for the purpose of creating adverts and things like that. So extremely low serial numbers are interesting, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I actually have a project. I just pinged the link into the chat that some of you know about. It's the Model 2 video keyboard tracker. All those boards are serial numbered, and it's like one of the only common components that existed in the entire 8-inch Tandy line from the Model 2 to the Tandy 6000. Basically the same board. There were some changes to it. It evolved, but they kept the serial number sequential going. So I've been using it to try to track the number of 8-inch systems that were created. So you can go to that link, and I have a spreadsheet, and I'm asking anyone who has a Model 2 or 8-inch system to send me the serial number of your video board, and we're trying to get an idea. I think, I haven't looked at it in a while, but I think we're saying that there were at least 100,000 systems built, somewhere between 100 and 150. That's where I'm at right now, trying to estimate it.
Well, not only low numbers would be interesting, but high numbers too, to see, you know, just how high the numbers got and to see if there's any fixes that went into later revs of the boards in them. It'd be interesting to inspect and see if anything got changed late in production.
There's also a fact that when they were selling in the United States, in Canada, and I know this because I used to work at the Radio Shack in Canada, the numbers for the systems were two different sets of series, and they weren't starting at the same point. Let's say you had a 3000 blah 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 in the US, you could have the same series when it was sent to Canada, to Barrie, Ontario. When they relabeled it with the Barrie, Ontario, Canada labels on them, the serial numbers were also started with a 6000 series number. So you've got offsets. Some serial numbers will actually tell you from which country they're coming from if you know where they are, but they are split up like that, and it's kind of hard.
Yeah, that would be, well, also, so there are discontiguous sections of serial numbers, but it'd be interesting to have a database to track those things. So
I think the Coco guys have done work on that, but I don't know how far they got with it. I remember seeing that they set up some registries to track Cocos and do the same sort of thing about estimate, you know, the production runs and distribution and so on.
Yeah. Well, the last thing I've been doing is with Peter's 8482's tandem drives. I've been cleaning my junk room, and I just got it to the point clean enough to set up an area to set up a workbench, and I was setting it up, and then my reminder went off for this meeting. So I should be able to start on those drives that are flaky, hopefully maybe later this evening or tomorrow, and then I'll also jump back on the channel and make comments about what I find.
Godspeed to you, Quentin. Godspeed.
So, well, that's all for my side.
Thanks, Quentin. Thanks for joining us. Anything particular you're after for Christmas, Tandy wise?
Oh no, I have everything I want. More than enough to keep me busy.
Exactly. Good on you, mate. George Phillips.
Hey.
So
for Christmas, I think I'll say the same thing I said on the podcast. So spoiler alert. One thing I'd like to see is a ROM dump or a die shots of the TRS-80 Pocket Computer 1. The other Pocket computers seem to have an actual separate ROM chip, and so I think all those have been dumped and there are emulators for them. But for the PC1, the ROM is actually masked on the CPU chips themselves. So you'd either have to figure out some obscure procedure to dump them, which is, I guess, is typically possible for these kind of embedded processors. You can do that, or go in there and decap them and take die shots and read the ROMs off them, just so we can find out exactly what processor is in there and exactly how basic work and cool stuff like that. So that's my kind of big Christmas wish, which is not as big as a Tandy 10, but it's not small either. Otherwise, I guess we've had the TRS 8-bit competition wrapped up. We had 2 entries of Wordle clones and 6 entries of compressing the Wordle dictionary. So it was quite a good turnout, and a big thanks to all of those who took the time to enter. The Wordle clone winner was Roland Archer with something that runs on the Model 4. It was really close between the other entry, which is on a Coco 3, but I think the trash talkers decided to go with the Model 4 just because he offered a bunch of statistics and other stuff like that.
Hey, George, I'm sharing a TRS-80 GP of that application. I thought we could do a quick demo of it to show
That's a
everybody
great idea. Yeah, go ahead.
the work that went into this. So type 5, a little bit of word. Let's say Tandy. So there's no Tandy in there, right? Okay, give me another
Nothing.
5-letter word.
Parts.
Parts. Give me another 5-letter word.
Elbow.
Elbow. Nice. Hey, we got a match.
Got one, but that's it.
I know. Wow. I've never played this bad before. Give me another 5-letter word.
What would be before the L? A C we've got left?
Maybe. Let's try that. C-L.
Or flunk. No, we don't have an N. Ah.
Oh,
Ooh.
Oh,
all right.
clink. No, it's not going to be clink. Click. No.
No
Yeah,
end.
it could be click because C could be twice.
Oh,
Oh, cluck.
Clock.
No.
can't be clock.
Oh,
No, it's probably
Cluck.
Clock.
like a chicken.
All the clucking luck.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought Sean said was cluck, and it got lost in the accent.
Oh.
Clock.
You see the work that went into this. He's even got a scoreboard here, you know, with keeping track of high scores.
That's
Just a lot of effort and a lot of,
that's incredible.
Yeah. so great job.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good winner. Yep. I wonder. Geez, we're gonna have to put our heads together to think of a competition to top that one. George and Dusty.
Yeah, and I'll
Well-
just mention a little bit about the compression entries because the winner was Alan Petrosky with a quite astonishing, what is it, 1,976 bytes. So quite a bit below the next entrant, and making it possible to see the game actually run in 16K, which is kind of cool. The entry itself is pretty sophisticated, and I don't really understand it, but I do have the source code for it. I want to go and get permission from all the authors to, either publish their stuff or allow us to put it out there so we can all share in it. But that's a task for January. But Alan's entry seemed to, what's amazing about it, I guess, is that normally in this kind of thing, you might sort of write a little utility program which takes the words and compresses them to a data file and then write your assembler code to deal with it. But somehow he managed to make it just one crazy ZMAC program, which takes like 10 seconds to compile, which does all the code and all the dictionary compression and just plops out a binary. So it's kind of mind-boggling in that aspect. For the rest of it, it seems to be sort of in some ways does the sort of state of the art of data compression these days, which is basically you just work a letter at a time. But what you want to do is, first off, have some way of predicting what the next letter is. So if you have a T, then, well, what's likely to come after a T? Well, not likely a Z, but certainly an H or an R is more likely. So based on these probabilities, then you're able just to spit out a minimal number of bits, which, to represent so you use a fewer number of bits for a likely letter and more bits for an unlikely letter. And so Alan's entry does that. And I think what he does is depending on up to the first three letters, he has these different tables in there, which give him the sort of probabilities of the next letter. So he can encode that tightly or predict that well. And then the encoding uses a asymmetric numeral system, which is the kind of cool kids versions of arithmetic coding. And arithmetic coding is kind of the better version of Huffman encoding. The main difference being with Huffman encoding, you're encoding things down into bits, right? A symbol is going to be 1 bit, 2 bits, or 3 bits. You can't have fractional bits, which leads to inefficiency. And so with arithmetic coding or this ANS stuff, you can actually, in effect, encode symbols with fractional number of bits. And somehow he made that happen in Z80 assembler.
Out of curiosity, how much working RAM did he use?
I'm pretty sure it's almost none. I think he talked about using some kind of dynamic scheme, which, you know, tracks the probabilities as it goes, but I guess he never finished that. And I think, yeah, I saw in the code also that these tables of probabilities are compressed themselves, but I think he just operates them on them in compressed form.
Definitely keen to check it out.
Yeah. And the other thing he did was what was sort of a sticky problem with this is that the compression of the dictionary is fairly straightforward in the sense that you know, put them in alphabetical or some other sort of, you know, good order and just compress it down. You know, words tend not to change much, so it works out. But the answer list itself is essentially just a random collection of words out of this list. And so the easiest thing to do is compress all the list of words. And then for the answer list, you just say, well, it's a 12-bit index minimally into this big list of words that tells you this is the list of answer words as they appear in order. And compressing that down is difficult because it's kind of random. So there's not really too much in terms of redundancy. And what he did there was, I think one of the better schemes is that he took those 12 bits and he just literally puts out the bottom 8 bits. But for the top bits, there's much less than 4,000 words. So you don't need the full 12 bits. So he uses the Huffman code for that so that it compresses down somewhat. So he gets a little bit of juice out of that too.
Great. Thanks for that, George.
George, you need to find a red hat.
And a bag of presents.
Tandy presents.
Tandy Claus.
All right. Vernon. Hey, mate.
Hello.
How you going?
Okay,
What you been doing?
not much.
Keeping
Struggling
warm.
still struggling with the Max 80.
Okay. And I see your Model 4 there behind you. How many's that now?
What was that?
I see your Model 4 behind you.
Well, that's one of many.
One of many. Have you stopped collecting them or are you still accumulating more of them?
I'm not accumulating more. The last count I had was 23. That's enough.
Yeah, that's enough.
There's the start of the Model 4 serial number tracker.
Yeah. Starts with Vernon Hester and follows on with Peter Satinsky. And
We could probably get a rough approximation just from Vernon's collection of Model 4s.
yeah.
Vernon, it must be nice. You know, you mentioned still working on the Max 80 that nowadays you can just kind of take your time to solve these problems compared to back in the day where, you know, you were rushing to compete with your competitors and their operating systems, huh?
Yes, my problem with the Max 80 is I kind of gave up on it like in 98, 99. And I kept moving on with the Model 4 and going to the Max 80, I found out that I changed things on the Model 4 and I have a lot of conflicts. And that's what I'm encountering. I'm trying to figure out how to get around those things.
Okay. Cool. Is it snowing there, Vernon?
No,
No? Is it gonna?
it's going to snow north of me and west of me.
Because I was watching the news yesterday and the Dakotas are copping it bad at the moment, and they said that New York is in the firing line. It was New York made it into the news again for not a great reason, Peter.
We're gonna get a snowstorm here?
Yeah, your lady mayor or whatever was warning everyone, saying that yeah, we'll survive it. We'll be right.
Our governor, yeah.
Governor, yeah. So she seemed upbeat about it.
She's not my governor, but anyway.
So yeah, maybe by the end of the weekend, half you northerners of the United States are going to be under snow or something. So
The end of next week.
end of next week, okay. things don't happen that quickly there. We're still waiting for summer to rear its head here. It hasn't been over 30 Celsius so far this summer. Very unlike Australia.
Hang on, are you sharing Australian weather secrets?
Yeah,
I thought the weather here is fabulous no matter what, right?
I've been, for some reason, in my YouTube video feed, Sean, I've been getting a lot of videos about Americans' opinions of Australia, and the main reason most of them don't want to come here is they're worried about getting killed by all the snakes, sharks, and spiders. So,
fair.
Yeah, we've managed to survive. We've managed to hang in there, and I've only been bitten a few times. All right. Well, since we got, thanks for that, Vernon. Good on you, mate. Have a good Christmas.
Thank you.
Sean, since we were just talking, what's up, buddy?
Yeah. Look, after finishing most of what I could do with my little piece of software, I went a bit sideways and decided to port it across to as many CPM machines as I could get my hands on, emulator-wise. What that was for a bit of a eye opener was just how good the debugging is in GP 2000. Like it's just GP. It's just insanely good. So yeah, I was so glad that I actually started on the Tandy side of things, because there's no way I could have done that level of debugging on any of the other emulators for any of the other machines. It's just, yeah, nowhere, not even close. What it also does, though, is skills me up a bit in talking both. So I'm going to be hunting down what I can do the other way around. What can I bring back to Tandy that was popped on a CPM machine but never made it across the fence? So that should open up a few little possibilities for some tools and kit over there. But for Christmas, look, I started out with a in the clone space. I was very much a System 80 person. So in following on from that, I reckon a LNW 80 would be would be my next thing of the same sort of family that would be fun to have. But on the software side, I should actually have a conversation with Vernon one of these days about how much accelerator code actually made it into multi-DOS, because it's sort of hinted at, but I'm yet to be able to make it work.
The multi-DOS has the accelerator system on the disk.
Okay. Yeah, I might have to email you with what I've tried and where I got to, because yeah, for some reason I couldn't convince it to cut over the code, because it's got a different banner. I could see somewhere like it had a different banner information text right at the end, like some of the words at the end that looked like they were meant to change when it flipped over to being accelerator. But yeah, look, I'll reach out to you and
Okay.
because I'd love to get that going and see it in all its glory, because I could see it putting the effort on the like on the debugger side and all of that sort of stuff. There's a lot of cool, looked like it had a lot of cool stuff in there, but for some reason I couldn't make it go. So there you go.
So I'm guessing that's what you're after for Christmas.
Yep.
That's
working multi-dots with my accelerator. That's probably the most plausible.
Oh, cool. Let us know how you guys go with that. It'd be interesting to hear. All right. Good on you, Sean. Thanks for joining us. Peter Phillips. How you going, Limpy?
Yeah, I'm limping now, so I can just put all the weight I want on the foot. So I just can't jump around or run or anything like that.
Can you drive?
Oh yeah, I could. As soon as I could put some weight on it, it's easy enough to drive. I don't just need one foot.
Yeah. Okay. I always need 2 feet, but that's my personal choice of what I buy. But you're not going to be running the Vancouver Marathon anytime soon, I'm guessing.
Yeah, no, anytime, never.
Anytime.
The marathon is just usually, it's like, why is this road blocked off? Please get out of the way.
Are you gonna do that? Are you gonna do that ball challenge from the Costco? You know, the thing of cheese balls, the healthy ones.
Oh, I ate was that is it Utz or something? Yeah, we had a big bucket of those. I think I ate most of them. I mean, bit by bit, but it's like I think I'll be all kind of orangey yellow inside after that.
Hey, that
And
could be a
preserved.
competition for the next Tandy assembly.
Yeah, guesstimate how many cheese balls are in that big ass thing of
No, who can eat the most?
who can eat the most.
Sure, handy these things come in buckets because. Did old Tandy or Radio Shack ever sell any food item? I mean, it was all electronics back in the day, but you think they'd have like a candy cane or something? I don't know. There was a comic book. No, they kind of missed out there.
Safely say that there's no food items came through Tandy stores. They can imagine the warranty returns.
Oh, and they missed a great marketing, Tandy Candy.
Yeah, I'm just thinking. If you the wish list, I mean, mine is the same as George's, which is to have the ROMs or the decap of the Pocket Computer 1, which I search occasionally. Maybe it exists in Japan. I mean, the Japanese had the same basic hardware for a long time, but I don't see any of it. And it might be nice to have, like, just on the software side, just because this came up, a comparison of all the different basics in the world, because there's some debate about the apostrophe being used as the remark statement in Radio Shack Basic. And now I wonder, it's like, how many other basics had that? I thought it was universal, but when I think about it, it doesn't seem that common. It comes up in the color computer and so on. But actually, the more the mystery there is, I have no idea why they added it. It's like I just don't know. It's like, who decided?
I suppose the question is, if level 1 basic has it, then how far back further than Tiny Basic from Dartmouth? Is it from Dartmouth or does where was Basic invented? I know that the version of level 1 is based on Tiny Basic, which was
Dartmouth College.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I thought it was. I didn't think it was one of the other MITs or anything like that. But yeah, see if they use it. I think that's where the question mark for print it came from. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a puzzle.
It's a puzzle. I'll leave you to solve it.
I can do a quick demo of one of the new TRS-80 GP features here, if I can share my screen. All right, let's hide those. So I talked about this last time, but we did add snapshots, but it's the half-baked kind. Is that it only snapshots the memory and it only works on some systems, and it needs debugging. So you can start playing Supernova. And then if you decide that this is a safe place, then you go into the record menu and say, take snapshot. So there we go. You can shoot away and fight. And then if something goes wrong, you can go back to the restore snapshot. And now you can go, you've got a few slots here. Now you can go back to there and continue. The other thing is that we did make it so that you can save. So I saved one earlier that I can load from storage. And now this is Supernova. I'm past 10,000 points. I can kind of try to kill the saucer to to see if I can make it up to 20,000. Oop, that was lucky. And then if something goes wrong, you can just go and restore it back again and try again. And then I even just this morning I did another snapshot. Here I'm at 20,000. So now it's like I can maybe build up some ships and go for a record play. And the other thing is that Microsoft recently updated the Windows that really was called the Windows subsystem for Linux.
Yeah.
And now it can actually do sound and graphics. So now you have to have TRS-80 GP installed in your Windows, but you can just run the Linux version with WSL. And then this is the Linux version of the TRS-80 GP running. And just as sort of demo, it's like the snapshots, they do work between the systems. So I can go back and play the same game on Linux. And it should work with the Mac as well. I just don't have a Macintosh handy. And then you can go and just maybe load up the, oh, that's an old one. I forgot about that one. This is where I was testing. I would stop the. Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. Mount C temp. There we go. Yeah. So yeah, that's a new feature. It's good for playing video games, basically. And if there's interest, you can try to expand it maybe to snapshot like the other bits of the hardware, like the disk system or floppies, which I might eventually get around to doing, because sometimes you're debugging something and it's a bit easier if you can stop the system at some point, debug a bit, rewind and keep going. So new feature. Oh, last thing is that I talked about fixing bugs in MAME, and all of the changes that I submitted are finally in the most recent version, which effectively it means now at least you can load DMK files. And I may get back to that. The last thing I looked at is that I was wondering about I was starting to look at other bugs, and I noticed that in the Model 1 and Model 3, MAME does have disk drive sounds, but they never stop. So I think in the MAME version, the emulated disk drive motor never stops. So I saw that and looked at the code, couldn't understand it, and got a bit depressed. I was like, oh, how could they break this? Like, this is the simplest thing. So maybe in a few months I'll roll back to it.
Okay. Peter,
I see, yes.
according to this, the apostrophe is an ANSI standard, but some basics use apostrophe instead of the double quote for print statements.
Oh, okay.
Some.
Well, that makes it even more confusing, not less.
Well, okay, but it's an ANSI standard for remark.
Okay.
It doesn't mean that
Interesting.
every basic is ANSI standard.
Yeah.
I can't recall ever seeing a basic that uses an apostrophe instead of a quote, but I'm sure they're out there. Maybe the older ones.
Well, yeah, but the when was this published?
I think level 2 basic uses the apostrophe for rem.
Yes, this is a 1981 publication.
Great, cool. Thanks for that, Peter Phillips. Enjoy your Christmas. Let's see who's next. Paul Metcalf.
Sorry,
Hi.
on the phone again tonight. Christmas wish list. I don't know, the only thing I'm looking for is a full set of dust covers for my Model 1. I managed to score one for the keyboard unit, but haven't found anything for drives or monitor out there lately.
Are you
Uh,
after original in packet or just good used ones?
Good used ones. They don't have to be anything special, just functional.
I'm pretty sure I've got spare of the monitor and the cassette recorder covers. If you're stuck finding one in the US, just send me an email. We can
Okay.
get my people talk to your people.
There was a guy at Tandy Assembly who was selling ones for keyboards that he made. And I bought one of them for the keyboards, and I was talking to him about doing monitors. And he seems to think that was something he could do. And I was encouraging him and even offering my existing monitor cover as an example if he wanted one to follow. I don't know his name right off the top of my head, but I could probably fish it out of my mail in a couple of minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, he was up in Canada, so maybe if somebody else sends him a monitor one would be nice. He might be more inclined to make one. I'll dig his name out of my mail for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Paul, I thought for sure on your Christmas wish list would be a working Chroma TRS.
Oh, that's a lost cause at this point, Peter.
Didn't work out for you. Sorry to hear it.
I just haven't gotten back to it yet. You know, it's
Understood.
the most I got with it last was some help on Discord from, I think it was George that was helping me with that, with a program that he wrote to test it with. And we've come to the conclusion that bit one is stuck and it doesn't want to do anything. And I've tried the easiest things with changing, swapping out RAM, and it doesn't. Something is causing it to be stuck, and I haven't quite figured it out yet. Haven't found it with the oscilloscope yet. So
Next year.
yeah,
Yeah.
time.
Sounds like the perfect challenge for Mav at Tandy Assembly.
Oh, yes.
Maybe
Yeah.
Sorry, Mav.
I was going to say, speaking of Canadians, and that gives an interesting segue into Tandy Assembly 2023. It should be a regular Canadian content returning next year, unless an impromptu wedding is organized for this time around. The Phillipses, you guys should both be back next year. Does that sound about right?
I reckon so. Yeah. As long as no one else decides to get married, happens.
Neil and his posse should be along as well. If the United States finally lifts its vaccine mandate on international visitors, that should make it a little easier for the Canucks to head over the border there. So
I hope so. I was reading an article today about how China is on the cusp of a major COVID disaster. So, and that will have repercussions all over the world because a lot of people travel from China. So who knows? Hopefully not.
Yeah, I know. It almost feels at times like we're going to go backwards. It's if you're vaxxed, you're cool. You can travel, but the unvaxxed for who are unvaxxed for various reasons, they're treated like second class people and not allowed to hardly go anywhere, even especially the United States, which kind of seems very strange. You'd think the US would want to pick up its economy with as many tourists as possible, but
yeah, I guess the problem they had there was they had the COVID zero policy. So not enough people got infected in the past, and now a lot of people are going to get infected all at once, it seems like. So
yeah, they had totalitarian solutions to their problems, like lock a whole building down of people and just wait 14 days with these people locked down. Doesn't matter if the odd person there dies or something, but the Rona runs its course, and then the people in the building are declared COVID free. So that's their COVID zero policy in practice. Unfortunately, like you said, that doesn't lend itself to herd immunity, and so they're yeah, they're under naturally vaccinated. Their vaccination numbers, I believe, are acceptable, but I don't know. We still live in the best countries in the world. Okay, moving right along. Patrick from Texas Tandy Restorations. Hey, mate.
Well, hi
How you
guys.
going?
Oh, all right. You know, it's going to be freezing cold in Texas the next few days. They're announcing actually 26 degrees in Houston, which means that the rest of the world will be freezing on Christmas. Not much to do. I've been busy repairing a lot of keyboards, and because I tend to show people what I do, people believe that I have a business to repair keyboards.
Yeah.
So I've been repairing a few keyboards for a few people. Thanks, Matt. You're not the only one that sent me people my way.
What do you charge for that, by the way?
I charge 10 per key.
Okay.
Because I do a full replacement of the key, you know, testing and all that stuff, and I test the whole keyboard. And if I have to do some wiring, it all depends. Sometimes it's just one bog wire, it's nothing. But if I have to do like the ones that I've got like the pierced hole through the case, through the bottom of the board, that there's a lot of rewiring to be done. It takes time to test. I don't charge a lot. It usually runs around $50 because most of the keys just need a really good cleaning. But if I replace, it's $10. But it's not. I don't charge. And again, you know, it's. I get it, and you're going to get it back eventually. So it's not like I'm on the schedule to do it because I do work for a living. No, it's something I do on the side. Someone from the group was kind enough to send me a keyboard, a 2-pin keyboard, so I can use some of the keys on that to repair a keyboard that I have. And I have a third to repair as well now. I have Model 3s, Model 4s coming out of my butt. Eventually get around to get them all running and out the door. And yes, my prices are always low and I don't care. People have made some comments, you're crazy. You're selling too low. You're going to break the market. Well, $900 for a Model 4 is just ridiculous.
I'm glad somebody's doing it.
Well, if they can sell that $900 worth Model 4 NGA in 6 months, I could probably toss 12 at 300. It all depends how much you purchased them at. You know, it's
I was
how
going
much
to
you
say
bought.
all that matters is if you're making a return on them, and that they that the people that are happy are buying them. They'll probably continue
You know,
to buy
I
from you.
I'm not in it. I'm not. Well, I'm not in it for the money. I'm not doing it as a business. It's for the fun of helping other people doing stuff, and I enjoy doing the repair work. It's zen. So for me, it's doing the repair work is being quiet and doing it and enjoying it, and then I have a machine that.
I bet for Christmas, you wish you had a decent ISP.
You know, I don't need 6 of me. Yeah.
Patrick, we can't hear you. You're breaking up. I bet for Christmas you wish you had a decent internet connection.
Are you on that? Are you on that 28K modem again?
No, it's just because I'm in the shed. I'm on bad Wi-Fi.
Okay.
Yeah. No, that's cool. All I was going to say was, yeah, I'm in it for the money. That's that's what I tell everyone. rather than you know them guess or come up with ideas in their heads. You know, I just tell them I got to make a living somehow. This is how I do it.
Well, I don't mind making some money, and it all depends. Like I said, if you paid $400 for a computer, when you turn it around and repair it, you're going to want $500, $600, $700. I get that. I don't pay that kind of money for them. Remember, I live in Texas. I get the barn. I go and get the computers that nobody get. I go get the barn find with 3 rat nests and 2 dead mice in it. So I don't pay a lot for my computers. So my profit is there, but it's not, you know, I'm not making $400 a computer, but I don't care. Again, I'm in it for the fun.
There's no money in computer restoration. It's got to be a job of passion.
Sure, for sure. Accessories is where the money is.
What I want for Christmas is to turn on the Model 3 and it doesn't blow up or double refund on me while I'm on the screen. That's what I want.
All right, good on you, Patrick. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, Mav, if
Eric,
I can, yeah, I need to head out. So just real quick, same as on the podcast, it's a TRS-80's My Christmas List. But want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and see you all later.
Merry Christmas, sir.
Thanks. Christmas.
see you in the new year. Eric, take care.
All right, bye.
We're getting
I'll
through
jump in. I put in the guy and his website and his email address that I've been swapping with on this is the cover I bought at for the keyboard I bought at Tandy Assembly from him. And like I said, I swapped some mails with him about doing the monitor and he was considering it. So like I said, send your emails along and ask him to do the same.
Okay. I'm the same guy who's been doing it for the Atari community.
Yes.
They look more to the Atari covers I've seen out there.
And Commodore 64s as well. Yeah.
I
Okay.
forgot to pick up one of those covers. I wanted to. I talked to Paulo too. For some reason, I didn't get around to getting one.
Yeah, cool. I think we're just left with Craig Skeels.
Hi. Yeah, I haven't been very active, but yeah, wanted to at least attend and get back into this a little bit. And my thought for Christmas was a Chroma TRS. Never had a non-working one, let alone a working one, and didn't know that there were issues. I know it was talked about a while back, and I didn't jump on that, but haven't had a lot of time to tinker with this. Got a new job coming up starting Monday, and we'll be having snow here this coming week. I guess Seattle area by Thursday, I guess we're gonna have like temperatures in the teens and stuff. So it got up in the Pacific Northwest where usually the snow misses us a lot. It's more mild weather year round. The one thing that I did, I don't think I've ever shown it before, if I could take over the screen a little bit. I dug up my old science fair project, one of the first things I ever worked on, and have it on an emulator. Let's see. And I have to unpause it. This is just a game I called Maze Game, but my project was more comprehensive than that. Do a hard reset, and I created a little basic program to auto run. So on reboot, it gives you a whole menu of all these things that I had created. And I was in 6th grade at the time, so and the TRS-80 was pretty new. This was like 1979, I think. So I created my own like graphics for Space Invaders. It's not even playable there, but
That's awesome for a 6th grader.
yeah, it was pretty fun. The one I'm most proud of is actually coming up with I loved Adventureland, so I created this little mini adventure in that style, and let's see. Oh, I think I just had to do that. Only 2 words in one. Well, now I don't even remember what I did to make that.
Is it only uppercase? Like, is it?
That may be it. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Forgot about that. So yeah, you can do all the little things. And I just had a 2-dimensional map. I don't remember exactly how to get through this, but it was pretty fun. And I had a second one that I made later. I don't know. I haven't dug that one up yet. But the one that people looked at most at the science fair actually was one of my Space War ones. And pretty simple, use arrow keys, spacebar to fire, and just pick a level. So if I click up, it makes that go down as it would. And I shot, I missed, so I get a negative score. If I hit it,
Yes.
got a little bit of graphics, and it goes on and on. But yeah, I thought I'd show that since it's something I actually did and showed off. I never actually released a product. I thought about it. I drew up more business plans than anything, but had a lot of ideas, but didn't monetize them, and had moved on to the Coco before I graduated. Still never released anything. IBM took over, and I never had any money back then. So, so now I just work for others. And
Reminds me a lot of myself. I wish I had my programs that I programmed when I was a kid.
yeah, this was really interesting too to save, because I actually copied the disk sector by sector through routines I'd created in RSM many years back. And I used the cassette utilities, I can't remember what they're called, but to basically read them from the PC, and had a nice long wire, still got it, running along from the TRS-80 under the windowsill here by me. And I guess you can't see it because you're seeing the program, but yeah, it worked. It was able to save all of the sectors, and then use the routines that write to disk to copy over sectors on an emulated disk. And then I was able to just boot it up. It worked perfectly. So yeah. But yeah, I demoed little things like the ability to create circles, or the best representation with the TRS-80 graphics. I don't know if I have anything else all that interesting in here, but
That's awesome, Craig. Thank you for sharing that.
yeah, no problem. Oh, I had some music stuff. I don't think it works very well on the emulator, but and you have to give it the different notes. There was also something where it listens and fills the screen with something based on voice patterns or whatever. Didn't really do a lot. Oh yeah, so I gave it like I guess if I enable the sound. There we go. So I could create different frequencies and stuff just in BASIC. I meant to do a real low one. So, yeah, just a little bit of fun. So hopefully I'll get more into the hardware and stuff later on, and whatever we have for Chroma TRS. I remember finding it intriguing back in the day, and then forgetting what the hell it was, and having someone explain it on one of the first ones of these that I joined. Yeah, but someday.
I know somebody who might sell you one really cheap.
Okay.
Maybe.
So do they work? Does anyone have working ones at all?
I know Peter's works. I've seen the videos of Peter's
Yeah.
work.
I have a working one.
I want to know what the
I was
there.
putting an order for some circuit boards. I got 5 more made, so I must be, there must be crazy types out there who want to have another shot at it. So I've got some more boards there to make more functioning, hopefully, Chroma TRS devices.
Yeah, Tim Halloran got his working too.
That's right.
Yeah. He
On the average, I think everyone who's got one got it working, except Paul. So it's
probably I've missed and I've done, or a faulty chip, that a logic chip possibly.
It's going to be one of those things. Once you find it, you'll be like, "Oh, damn! I can't believe it took me so long to find that problem." I have that all the time when I'm fixing something. What are you trying to show us, Patrick? Patrick.
When you have a keyboard problem, I don't know if you can notice,
yeah.
there's a slight gap in the wiring here.
It's been eaten by a mouse.
Exactly.
I was surprised when I restored that machine for Randall Kindig at Tandy Assembly, how dusty and everything it was inside. It had obviously been kept outside in a barn or just outside of a barn, but it still kept got it all working. It was probably, only about 3 or 4 years away from being out in the elements and unrepairable, but he's got it going now. So yeah. All right. I think we're about ready to wrap things up. Anyone got any last things to say before we go?
I do have one more news item I just want to mention to the community. So the Glenside Color Computer Club is having an end of year Tandy Tidings Zoom event on December 30th at 6:30 p.m. All the details are on the Tandy Discord, or just reach out to me or Glenside or Jim Brain to get the invite. They're inviting not just Cocos, but anyone who owns a Tandy system, just to sit back and reminisce and celebrate the end of the year with fellow like-minded Tandy aficionados. So I strongly encourage all of the Trash Talk folks to jump over there and let's have a big Tandy party.
I'll try and make it. It'll be good. Okay, everyone. Thanks for joining us, and we'll be back this time next year, like in January. All
Merry
right.
Christmas, everyone. Happy New
Merry
Year.
Christmas.
Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas.